Guys, welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap of Below Deck, and I have a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Hey. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I got my headphones in today, which I should always be doing. We are live on multiple platforms on, of course, TikTok. We are also live on the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. We are also live on, of course, the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, and we're live on Twitch and Twitter. Be sure to follow us on all of those platforms because you just never know when we have exclusive lives coming on those platforms. What's going on to everyone in the chat? Guys, drop your elephants and your crowns and let me know where you're watching from. It's a new year. We have a lot of more new subscribers. We hit 70,000 subscribers on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, TikTok. If you're not following me there, be sure to follow me there. Sending love right back to all of you. Appreciate all of you being here. All right. Thank you. Danny says the season is a bore. The cast isn't interesting. Can we talk about that? Because I've been saying that during my recaps of Below Deck this season. You know, I'm a big fan of the show. This is their 9th season. The ratings still are very good for the show, but this has been a lackluster season for me. And putting aside the whole, incident between Heather and Rayna, even without all of that drama, it's still a very season. I'm like, something going to happen. Are the charter guests going to be interesting? Is the cast going to be interesting? Frasier, for me, is still the most interesting. Still the most interesting. Let me see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Kate? What's going on? Nikolai's not on the strip anymore. He is in his bed in Las Vegas. What's going on, Tavares? Florida's in the building. England's in the building. What's going on? Appreciate you all. KK Toronto's in the building. Kansas City. St. Lucia. Oh, I wish I was in St. Lucia right now. Thank you so much, Nora. All right. Nikolai said, I used to live in Jacksonville. How was that? California's in the building. What's going on, y'all? I do this just so we can give people time. This is people's lunch break. Some people are working from home. Some people are in the office and they have to wait until they get their lunch break. So that's part of the reason why we started doing afternoon lives, just because a lot of you have lunch breaks and you want something to do during your lunch break. Why not talk about Housewives and talk about Below Deck? Let's talk about hot topics. Last night, if you weren't here, we had almost 3,000 people in our live chat where we were talking about the recent interview that Tasha K did with Ariane Curry, Martell Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville, mistress. A lot of you had other names for her, but she's okay with the word mistress. So if you missed that interview, be sure to check that out because we had a lot of really great callers that called in and shared their own personal stories and they ranged the gambit. Some for Ariane, some for Melody, some for the kids, of course. Be sure to check out that conversation on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel if you missed it yesterday. All right, DMV's in the building. What's going on, DMV? Nikolai says I'm heading to the strip in 20 minutes. Damn. All right, let's get into this recap because I took my notes. I watched it twice. I watched it last night, then I watched it again before this live because I have a lot of thoughts. And they're mixed. And if you watch my recaps of Below Deck over the last few weeks, they've been up and down. I was like, to hell with Heather. To hell with her. I mean, still to hell with Heather. I don't think she's a great chief stew. She might be a good chief stew in the yachting world, but she's not a great chief stew for reality TV. You know what I mean? She's not. I miss Kate Chastain. Would that have changed this season? Probably. I thought Fraser would have been sort of our Kate for the season. He's sort of kind of fallen to the back in regards to his snarky comments, maybe because he's getting along with Heather, but that doesn't last long because next week it seems as if they're not going to be getting along. So this charter, they are down a stew. So as you know, boring Jessica, decided, I can't do this anymore. I'm going home. Poor Wes. Oh, Wes. Every week I share my love for you, Wes, and I still love Wes. But Wes, you constantly calling her almost like a stalker? Wes, stop calling Jessica. She wasn't that cute, and she wasn't that interesting or dynamic. I get it. We only saw a certain part of her on the show. You got to see all of her? Wes, stop calling her. Poor Wes, but I can relate to Wes because Wes is like, I'm not one to go out and, get drunk and do this and do that. I get it. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And I can see how he can't relate to the rest of the team because they are sort of like party animals. That's why they make great reality TV stars, I guess. But Wes doesn't relate to them. So Wes is just like, calling Jessica. Pick up, woman. Really? Wes, stop it. Stop it. I love you, Wes. Stop. I didn't like that moment for Wes. But Wes still is really great on the show. Look, he doesn't add much. We still love Wes though. Mama Ali, yes, it is new art, and the artist is the same artist that I featured the other day. I mean, she's a Haitian artist. Hold on, let me pull it up since you pointed it out. I should, it's been a busy morning, but let me point it out. Let me see if I can get that information here for you because I know I saved it. If I can find that information. Oh, here it is. Yes, the artist's name, she's a Haitian artist. This is from her collection from 2015 called Comfort Bringers. Is a collage using paper from books and magazines. And as I said before, it's from, here we go, from a piece called Comfort Bringers. It's a part of the Basket Women series. So this is a part of the Basket Women series. And it's celebrating, let me just bring that up. It's inspired by the absolute beauty, strength, tenacity, and power of the Haitian women of the market, the women who go up and down Haiti's hills with their livelihood balanced gracefully on their heads. TikTok, if you can't see it, let me step to the side. This is what we are referring to. Yes. So shout out to, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing her name, Merlande Jean Gilles. So yes, shout out to her. She has a few pieces that we've already featured here on the show. So thank you, Ali, for pointing that out. Nora says, I love Wes, though, and he ain't bad to look at. You know what, Nora? I mean, I agree. I love Wes, too. Lord, but damn, Wes. Damn it. All right. Happy New Year, guys. I always forget to say that. Maybe because I'm not in the office anymore. When you're in the office, you have those niceties that you say to everyone. Happy New Year. I guess this is the office. Happy New Year, y'all. Happy and healthy New Year, especially with everything happening right now. All right. Alfred said, finally, openly on a gay couple openly on Below Deck. Well, it's so interesting to see Frasier and Jake's relationship, friendship, on the show. I don't think it's what it is because along with seeing them bond, we're also seeing Jake talk about, being away from Paris, his fiance that he wants to make a girlfriend. I'm so confused by this whole Jake situation. But he wants to make his fiance his girlfriend, and he misses her, and he keeps bringing her up along with his love affair with Frasier. Well, he's not even bringing up his love affair with Frasier. Frasier's the one he clearly has a crush. He has a crush on, and I don't want to say straight boy. I mean, according to Jake, he is straight. He's just sexually open, which I can appreciate, but that's not going to end well for Frasier. But if you follow Frasier on Instagram, they still hang out. They're still really good friends. I don't know if they still smooch, but Frasier's like, I think on some level, Frasier has a crush, but he also understands, I'm away. We can kiss. That's it. He doesn't mind smooching. Okay. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. So the primary guest, can I just talk about how much the primary guest annoyed me? I get it. She had an accident, so she had her mouth shut, the wire shut. The last time I saw that on reality TV was Tammy Roman, and that was years ago. Years ago. Sidebar, I know Real World Homecoming is happening right now. I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to recap it, though, y'all. It's just way too many things to recap. Married at First Sight comes back tonight. Way too much stuff. Look, way too much. And if you can hear it in my voice, that's 3 hours of talking about Ariane Curry last night, which is okay, which is all right. Let me take a sip. Okay. If you just joined us, we're talking about the latest episode of Below Deck, and I have mixed feelings, and we will get to why I have mixed feelings about this, and I'll share my own personal story about that. So the primary guest is annoying me. She has a breakdown. I feel like her friends were really trying to be understanding of her situation, but she made it seem like everybody was attacking her. I feel like your friends were really had a lot more patience. And then I thought about it. You want all of the meals that they're having grinded up in liquid form for you. And I thought to myself, there are certain foods, even though I might have them on the same plate, but I can be weird like that. I don't need them touching, but you want them all grinded up and put in liquid form so you can feel like everyone else. I'd much rather you give me a shake. Give me a shake that, get creative with the shake. You're a chef. Get creative with the shakes. But I don't need grinded up seafood. First, I don't like seafood in general. I don't need all that stuff grinded up. The primary Billy Diva says the primary was hella hangry. And y'all know how I get when it comes to food. So I understand her frustration with that. But you're asking a chef to do almost the impossible, but not the impossible, but probably something that goes against their expertise, their artwork. Being a chef is sort of like being an artist. And you're asking her to take all of that art and throw it in a blender so you can have it in liquid form. Last week I didn't think about it. So this week I'm like, ew, exactly. Danny says meat blended up. Arg. It's weird. I mean, I get it. She wants to feel apart. But again, I would have much rather you make me a shake. You can get really creative with shakes. You can get all kinds of different flavors with shakes. I cannot even imagine what meat grinded up with your vegetables, the dressing, and all in one thing. KK said Gerber would have been better. Exactly. I'm sorry. The charter guest, the primary, she got on my nerves. That poor husband. But everyone I felt like was trying to be understanding. And she was sort of like, oh, the vibe has changed. The vibe has changed because of you. Charter guest. Have you ever been to a silent party, y'all? I was on a cruise. Oh my gosh, I don't remember which cruise this was on. And they had a silent party. Me and my friend went down. We didn't go to the silent party. We're like, we knew one was happening. And we walked down and we see, and it's just silence. But people with the headphones on. Sidebar, did you guys notice that the primary was wearing the dress that Erica Jane wore in last season, that pink fluffy dress? That's the same dress. Or maybe a knockoff of the same dress. I don't know. Just saying. Mama Allie says bone broth is so delicious too. Drink that. Yeah, but she wanted everything that they were eating grinded up. And part of me is like, oh, the producers did this. No, she really had her mouth. Why does she look like one of those? Oh my God, who's the rapper with? I mean, a couple of rappers have the grills in. That's exactly what she looked like when she opened up her mouth. I was like, ooh. And Captain Lee was like, I think I would prefer the way that you're eating dinner. And then shades her in his confessional. No, you don't. But, he's trying to get the tip. He's trying to get the tip. Yes, the silent party. I don't know why that's fun for anyone. I don't think that's fun. But people do it. It's actually a thing. People do it. To me, it makes sense if you were trying to do it like how they did it on an island where you might be disruptive to other people. Okay, that makes a little more sense to me. Or maybe if you've never done it before. All right. Oh yeah, Nikolai was right. Kanye West had his mouth wired shut. But Tammy Roman did it first. Look, Tammy Roman did it first. Silent discos are the best. Really? My TikTok chat camera says silent discos are the best. Really? Why though? Nikolai says silent discos are so much fun. Really? I mean, maybe for you. I mean, technically, when I'm commuting, when I used to, commute to work, I'm literally having a silent disco with my music in my headphones. I'm just like, and if it's a good song, you start moving. I'm just saying. Anyways, we spent way too much time on that. The primary guest ends up giving a really good tip. I have to give it to Chef Rachel. She was really sweet by sending her a sort of like a go bottle of actually a shake, not food. I mean food, but you know what I mean. I can appreciate that. Okay. So throughout the charter, you see that Rayna is giving Heather the cold shoulder. Heather is trying to talk to her and she's not even saying anything. She'll give her a finger, a thumbs up. we're gonna delve deeper into this. But Heather's like, why is she giving me the cold shoulder? I thought we were good. I thought we were moving on. Well, Frasier lets Heather know that she's not happy about her using the N-word. So this conversation comes up again. And to be honest with you, when they played back Heather's apology, it really wasn't an apology. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It really was just very flippant. But they do later have a sit down, which I can appreciate. But before we get to that part, when Frasier tells her, like, well, she said this, a specific word that you used that bothered her. And Heather has a meltdown. And she goes to her cabin and she says, like, I need 10 minutes. And I'm thinking what's going through Heather's head, because there's one element of, okay, this is on TV and now I'm going to be painted as maybe a racist, whatever you want to call it. Or she's worried that this is going to get to Captain Lee and she's going to lose her job. So I don't know what's going through Heather's head, maybe during the reunion, again, which should not be hosted by Andy Cohen. No, should not be hosted by Andy Cohen. But I'm here with Rayna, because I don't feel like they had a real conversation when everything went down. I think they had a conversation when they all were drunk, and Rayna was like, and they play it back where Rayna's like, oh no, I love you, blah blah blah, just don't say that word. And a lot of people are like, oh, okay, she seems okay with it. But let me tell you a story. Can I tell you a story? Let me know in the chat. Can I tell y'all a story? Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, she seemed like she moved on. She's okay with it. That she apologized. She's moved on. Let me take a sip. Deborah Cartier says, Rayna made me so upset last night. She should be honest with Heather. Don't tell Heather it's okay when it's obviously not. Okay, you guys want me to tell the story. So I've told the story before on my YouTube channel, but this is last year, during, the Black Lives Matter, movement and everything that was going on. So in high school was the very first time that I was ever called the N-word. I was giving out yearbooks and I was called the N-word. This young man has said, amongst other students, I don't want an N-word touching my yearbook. I had a profound moment last year thinking about that, because I retold the story in our high school newspaper. I was a writer for our high school newspaper, and I told the story there. And I had the profound thought years later that, wow, no one in the school, I wrote this in a school newspaper. No one, not a teacher, not a principal. No one protected me in that moment. No one stood up for me in that moment. No one came to me and said, wow, I can't believe that happened. Who said it? How did this happen? No one. Mind you, this is 1999? No, this wasn't my senior year. This was probably like my sophomore, junior. So probably like 1998, 97. Who knows? But I didn't have that thought then. But damn, I was gangster for writing about it in the newspaper. And it was a very uncomfortable time in high school to write something like that. But no one said anything. And mind you, some people would have said, why didn't you say something in the moment? Why did you wait to write it in a paper? Because very much like Rayna, in the moment, she was just like, but mind you, with that being said, they do end up having a conversation later. They do end up having a conversation, which I can respect. Heather was like, let me get in front of this. Maybe because she knows it's on camera. Let me get in front of this. Let's have a conversation. That I can respect. Let's have a conversation. And now I felt like she gave her a sincere apology. And Rayna's response was like, okay, I just feel like I don't feel like we can have an authentic friendship, but maybe we can move on from here. She accepts the apology. So I know a lot of people are still going to say, well, she might be having, residual feelings about it. But that's the time that you can have the conversation. Now you both are sober and you can have the conversation. If you felt like it wasn't authentic, you could have said in that moment, I need time. You don't even have to accept the apology. I need time. Maybe we can get there, but I need time. But in her drunken state later on that day, she says, I'm still feeling a way about it. And she says this to Frasier. And then she says that she feels like it wasn't authentic in her fake tears. And then, of course, we reported on her answering fan questions a couple of weeks ago, and she was throwing everyone under the bus. She said Captain Lee knew and didn't do anything about it. In this episode, she said Eddie was telling her just to move on, that it's not a problem. We didn't see that. Normally, producers, if Eddie had said something like that, they would have replayed it. They didn't replay it unless they did that conveniently. Unless they did that conveniently. We don't know. This is an edited reality show. They can paint the picture the way they want to paint a picture. Nola says in my TikTok chat, Rayna said in her live that she didn't want to have the conversation production made her. Okay. And again, this is, Tavares says producers made them talk. Very, very much so. But even if they make you talk, you can still be like, I don't, like I said, you can easily say to her, like, well, let's take our time with this. I appreciate you apologizing to me, but let's take our time with this. But it's going to be an interesting reunion. That's going to be an interesting reunion, because if they cancel it like they did the Real Housewives of New York, then we know bravo. Let me see. Okay. Heather says, and we did a report on this. Heather says Eddie was saying the producers were telling him to drop it because according to an interview that Eddie did, he says that he did call for all of them to have a meeting. Rayna didn't want to be a part of the meeting. Rightfully so, because Rayna's probably just like, I don't want to have this conversation. She shouldn't have said it, period. And again, we are watching something play out that's edited. We don't see everything. And according to Eddie, there was a lot that we are not seeing. And Eddie's been a part of this cast for many years. So for him to be calling out production and even Captain Lee says a lot. Captain Lee on his website said if he had known about it, she would have been immediately fired. But he didn't know about it. Eddie did not bring it to him. Eddie says, I did bring it to him. He says production told him to drop it. Jazzy says, unfortunately, we've been knowing about Bravo. Again, it will be interesting to see how they address this on their reunion. Hopefully they will have a reunion, and hopefully Andy Cohen will not be the host. I don't think Andy Cohen should be the host when you have these conversations. To be honest with you, he's tried and he's failed. If he had tried and he did a good job before, then I'm like, all right. No, let's have someone else handle this conversation. But it's going to be hard because, well, not hard, because, during the reunion, I feel like you can have these conversations and break the fourth wall. So it'll be interesting to see. Hold on. I think I missed a super chat. I did. Jazzy, thank you so much for the super chat. I did tell you the story. DH, thank you so much for the super chat. DH says, no accountability. A person says a racial slur, then suddenly the black person said, the black person that said did nothing becomes responsible for diffusing and owning it. French like Kempire, you should, no, I don't want to host it. Unless you're going to show me all of the footage that we didn't see, it's going to be hard for me to host it if we haven't seen everything. And they need to ask Rayna the questions. Did production force them to have this conversation? Did they? And I hope Rayna doesn't hold back. But remember, Rayna is the only black woman on there. And she talks about, I don't want to be depicted as the angry black woman on, here, if she was to bring anything up. And that might be her motivation. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why she's like, I don't want to have the conversation because you guys are going to edit it whatever way you're going to edit it. Maybe. But the way that they're making her seem on the show, and I'm going to say that, The way that they're making Rayna seem on the show is that, oh, she accepts the apology, but then she's bringing it up later. That's the way they're depicting on the show. And that's why when people blame editing, people are like, oh, don't blame editing. Well, no. They can literally cut things out that add context to what's going on, because we don't know how this was originally handled. What I will say is when Heather originally was confronted with the information, she immediately ran away. And her apology was very flippant. It wasn't a sincere apology. The conversation that they have later seemed a little bit more sincere. But before she even got there, she walked away, and she was crying in her cabin. Me personally, if Frasier came to me and said someone said that I said something that really hurt their feelings, I'm not running to my cabin to cry. I'm running to that person. We need to have a conversation. But that's me. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on from this conversation, because I don't think this conversation is going to be over, especially once the Below Deck reunion happens and once we see the rest of the season. But commercial time. Guys, don't forget to get your coldest water bottle. Coldest water bottle is one of my favorite water bottles. I always have it here during my live. It keeps your water cold for 36 plus hours. I don't know if I can get this in focus. Either way, you know what? I have the camera over here for a reason, right? Why not use the other camera, right? Let's... Guys, get your coldest water bottle today. Keeps your water cold for 36 plus hours. Comes in multiple colors, multiple sizes. The discount code is KEMP10. KEMP10 for 10% off. Get your coldest water bottle today. And moving back to this one. Okay. Ooh, let me move that there. Let me turn this down. Phil, can I get one of those for my birthday today? Of course you can. Go to the website. look, go to the website. You got the discount code KEMP10. But happy birthday. Capricorn season. It's someone else's birthday that I know. All right. Moving on. Guys, let's get to 150 likes. We were talking about the latest episode of Below Deck. Shorty in my TikTok chat says, Eddie alludes to things being left out also, #editing. Yeah, so, we did a full video talking about Eddie's interview where he blames production for editing out a lot, and he tells his side. So if you missed that video that I did, that's available on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Peter, what's going on? Barbados in the house. Yes. Okay, back to this. So, I took my notes. Frasier. Let's talk about Frasier. Frasier has a crush on Jake, but Jake is texting with Paris, his fiance, that he's trying to make his girlfriend. Look, I don't know what to think of when it comes to Jake, to be honest with you. I don't know what to think of with him. I don't hate him. I don't love him. He's good for the show because he's definitely a lot more entertaining than Wes. I'm sorry, Wes. But there's been a love affair going on between Jake and Frasier during this season. Okay? There's been a little bit of a love affair. A lot of flirtation. I think Jake likes the attention that he's getting from everybody. He's getting attention from Rayna. He's getting attention from Heather. He's getting attention from Frasier. He's getting attention from everyone. So he's soaking it up. Do I think that he would even have a relationship with Frasier? No. Because I think we see multiple times in this episode him talk about being more serious with Paris, marrying Paris, having children with Paris. I just thought that was interesting. And Frasier's like, Google Gaga over him. Frasier's sort of kind of fallen to the wayside when it comes to commentary. Like, he came out swinging in the season. I was like, oh, he's one to watch. I'm very interested in what's happening with Frasier. But Heather and Frasier, I think, are going to have it out next week, which I'm happy about. I'm happy about that because they were getting along way too well. Mar says, I think I think he's bi, but not owning it. Maybe. Philly Diva says Jake is so thirsty. You think Jake is thirsty or Frasier's thirsty? I think Jake is just loving all of the attention. I think he's just loving all the attention that he's getting right now from everybody. Even Eddie plays with him. Even Eddie plays with him, but not in that way. You know what I mean? So I'm like, anyways. So of course, their chart is over. They go out to the private island and they have their good time. Sidebar: why was Eddie so scared of that spider? I was like, I mean, unless you just have a fear of spiders, then any size spider is going to scare you. But I was like, Eddie, that spider's not even that big. Calm down. I digress. I just was like, what's happening here? Rayna, again, she gets drunk. She talks a little bit about what's going on with her and Heather, and she felt like Heather's apology wasn't authentic. She says she's still upset about that. And in the same breath, we see a scene with Rachel and Heather, and she's like, we had a conversation. I feel good about it. I think we're in a better place. I think we can move on. Little does she know, no. But of course, the love affair between Frasier and Jake is continuing. They're on paddle boards and they're talking, and he's learning more about Jake, and he's very happy. I get it. If you've ever had a crush, you understand. Even a crush that there's no future there. He has a crush. I understand, Frasier. You're away from civilization. You're with these people 24/7. There is a little bit of a connection, and the straight boy has kissed you, and you're like, wait a second, I didn't see this. I didn't see this happening. April says Frasier is thirsty. Oh. Tina says Rayna shouldn't have told Heather everything was okay. I don't know about that. When I initially saw it, but again, I don't know what is production and what is real. That's why I need the reunion to happen. But it looks like, according to Rayna, we're going to hear more about what Wes thinks about the whole situation. Because Wes is like, what happened with that? Like, what's going on with that? And Rayna accuses Eddie of saying, that this what were her words? Oh, it doesn't matter. So I don't know. I want her to confront Eddie with saying that at the reunion, because if that is true and they just don't show it, because normally they would just show it. Why not? Tia says Jake is not straight. Let me get back to that. April says, yeah, he probably has a fear of spiders. Yeah, because that was a small spider. Austin says Jake's cute though. Jake is cute in his own kind of way. And again, I think because they are with each other 24/7, if there was more cute peen on this boat, I don't think Jake would be the only one that they were giving attention. He's the only one that they're giving attention. Remember, Eddie's in a relationship. Captain Lee's married, obviously. Who else are they going to give? Wes is, Wes. I mean, they could be giving Wes attention, but Wes is, he's sort of like more demure. He doesn't party with them. If he did, you never know. Wes might be getting the same attention. Just saying. Allie says that was not a small spider. Do you have a fear of spiders, Allie? I just felt like that was small. Okay, let's talk about it. Micah says, I'm not ready for Rayna to join in on Frasier and Jake. It was too much, too messy. Let's talk about that. So Rayna is jealous. We knew Rayna had a crush on Jake from the beginning of this season, and then she was so upset that she found out that he was engaged. But then she's seen him hook up with her, hook up with Frasier. So she sees that them having a moment. So she paddle boards her way out there and she tries to interrupt. And at one point she throws, I don't know, I know it was probably like a plastic glass or whatever it was. She threw it. And it was like, what is going on? Why are you so jealous? And we thought it was going to be a throuple situation. Yes, they did a 3-way kiss on the water. But then later on, we see them all hanging out in Rayna's room, watching Norbit. Good movie. But Jake doesn't have any underwear on or any pants on. Okay. And then they're watching it. At one point, Frasier just wants to go, see Jake and say, hey, and have a moment with him. And then he's like, he sees that they're together and he's like, all right, I'm going to leave. But Rayna pulls him back in. They sit down and they're watching Norbit together. Frasier's in the middle. But then Rayna reaches her hand over. Mind you, they're drunk. They are drunk. But we already know what that means. That's just truth serum. Okay. So she her hand goes over and she starts, doing things. She starts doing things. She starts doing things, and Frasier's like, all right, I want no parts of this. Because I think Frasier, even though he jokingly says, get away from my man in his confessional, I think part of him's like, I want to have this moment for us. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Frasier would have preferred it was just him and Jake hooking up. He doesn't want to do the throuple. And that's why if you see the thumbnail, I talk about this episode is called The Smell of Sweat and Desperation. I just put the smell of desperation because I feel like that was the ongoing theme throughout this episode. The desperation of the primary guest to have everything that everyone else is eating. Trust and believe, I'm paying attention to what I'm putting in my thumbnails, y'all. It's not just me putting a thumbnail together. Sometimes it's like that, but I try to put some thought into the thumbnail, the picture, the words. So of course it's a connection to what Eddie says in his chart in his cabin, but desperation was the theme. Rayna's desperation to be a part of this throuple, Heather's desperation to move on from this incident. There was a theme. Tina says the French toast smoothie sounded kind of good. Do we have anyone from France in here? Because I had real French toast when I went to the Ritz-Carlton in Paris. Shout out to my friend. I had real French toast. And never again can I have French toast here in the States. It's completely different. It's completely different. And it was so good. It was so good. Anyways. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating my hard work. Oh, Austin, thank you for pointing this out. One of your listeners in a recent visit to your YouTube channel mentioned how you were instrumental in her life as she fell into a bit of a depression, and watching your upbeat videos and programs helped. Thank you. Yeah, a few people have actually said that. A few people have said that, and that is the highest compliment. With all the hard work that we do here, and I say we because there's a few of us that help promote and moderate and do things like that. That is the highest compliment. Heather says, wait, what's real French toast? You got to go to France. It's like dessert. It's not a breakfast thing. It's like a dessert. It's something that you have like at the end of the meal. And it doesn't look like how we make French toast. Oh, so good. I can't wait to go back to France. I'm working on my French, y'all. I haven't started this week, but I'm going to try and get into it. Bonjour. Michael, when I read this, I almost read this in the wrong way. Kempire is for the people. You know how people say someone is for the streets? I kind of took it as that, but I digressed way too far. Guys, you just joined us. We are talking about the latest episode of Below Deck. If you're watching the replay of this, I want to know your thoughts on the Heather and Rayna situation. And of course, the Rayna, Jake, and Frasier situation. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Tom wants to know where this t-shirt is from. This is actually a Banana Republic t-shirt. One of their logos is the elephant. So, I love my elephants. So I have a couple of things from Banana Republic. So this is Banana Republic. Austin says, you're drooling over that French toast. It was so good. It was so good. I got to go back to Paris. Oh, Shauna, thank you so much. You are amazing. When days are rough, your laugh and smile make the day turn. Thank you. I appreciate that. Have I laughed and smiled today yet? There I go. All right. Let's move on. I appreciate all the love, guys. And shout out to us reaching over 70,000 subscribers here on the channel. We appreciate you. But if you're not subscribed, I know there are tons of people that watch the content, which I appreciate as well, and like the video. But get subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the daily and consistent hot topics that we cover here. We don't just recap reality TV or talk about reality TV news. We talk about everything in pop culture. But if you missed our great conversation last night with not with Ariane Curry, we talked about the interview that she did with Tasha K here on the channel. Go and check that out. We had great conversation. Great conversation. So be sure to check that out. Let me take a sip. And guys, don't forget to follow me on my other platforms. Of course, hey, TikTok, what's going on? Be sure to follow me there. TikTok, if you haven't already, be sure to follow the Kempire Daily TikTok. That's going to be our backup channel, so we're able to go live. God forbid we are ever banned here, because, you never know. So follow me at Kempire Daily there. But, of course, the main page is The Kempire on all pages. So follow me on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter. I do live tweeting there. And, of course, follow me on Instagram. And join our texting community at textkempire.com. So let's get into the rest of this. So we have that weird moment where Frasier's just like, all right, I don't want to be a part of this. And then Rayna, who has a boyfriend, remember Issa, who I thought was a woman? She has a boyfriend, and Jake has a fiance that he's trying to make a girlfriend. All right. Oh, yes, Adrian. Hey, Adrian. Adrian called in last night. Everyone was loving Adrian. That's why I love you. I'm a Delta. Yes, elephants. Okay, Deltas. We had that conversation when we were talking about Insecure and that whole situation. See how quickly people move on? What can you do? All right. Okay. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about in regards to this episode? One of the things that I forgot to talk about was, which I already knew. I already knew there was going to be trouble. Heather texts with a former stew that she worked with, and then she brings this information to Captain Lee because, as you know, Jessica left, so now they're down a stew. And I'd love to see how everyone kind of came together. Of course, they're going to come together because everyone's getting the same tip. But I love seeing the deck crew kind of come in and help out any way that they can. I'm not sure if they just told Jessica to leave or gave her the option just because they want to shake things up and kind of, put Heather and Frasier, under pressure. So that wouldn't shock me. But I already knew when they showed pictures of Heather and this girl working together. I was like, oh, Heather's bringing in her friend. And you already know, if you've ever worked with someone that hired a friend, I can definitely see this being a problem. And based on the preview for next week's episode, I think we're going to see Frasier and Heather go at it. I don't think Heather is prepared to go at it with Frasier. But Frasier's very professional. I don't see Frasier really going at Heather's neck. I think he'll shade her in his confessionals. But I also think that he felt like he was building a bond with Heather and that this now is going to change the dynamic. I don't think it should. You're all there to make, to do the job. Who cares? But as soon as I saw her reach out to this friend, I was like, your friend you want to bring on? Okay. Exactly. Deborah says she's bringing in an ally. And she doesn't really need an ally. The season's almost over. We're halfway through. This was episode 10. We're halfway through the season, the charter season and the season of Below Deck. Guys, we have almost 300 people watching. If you haven't liked the video already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. And be sure to subscribe to my Kempire Radio podcast and the YouTube channel. That's our backup channel for YouTube. But that's also where you can see some of my past interviews with people like Brandy, Brian McKnight, Danny DeCane, JoJo, and of course, Oprah Winfrey. I just realized this year marks 10 years since my interview with Oprah. So I think we should do a follow-up, Oprah. Yes, I think we should do a follow-up. I think we should, because that was at the beginning of OWN, before Love and Marriage Huntsville. And to see how far OWN has come since then. That also was around the time that she did the interview with the Kardashians. And now the Kardashians are moving from E to Hulu. So there's a lot of monumental things happening. So it's been 10 years since all of that. So I think it would be an interesting conversation. So let's work on that. Let's get Oprah back on the show. Micah says, I wonder if Jess will be at the reunion. I mean, I think she will be. I mean, there was really nothing. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if she wasn't. I feel like so many times at these reunions for Below Deck specifically, a lot of the people don't show up. I'm like, what's going on here? Please show up. I mean, she didn't really offer a lot. Felicia says, I miss Kate Chastain. Me too. I was hoping that they would bring in Kate as a third stew. She joked about doing that. I was like, Kate, please bring Kate. That would have been perfect. Can you imagine Kate as a third stew shading her? And just like that would have really been epic for this new season. Julia says we definitely have new questions for Oprah. Is it about Ariane and how she feels about Oprah? Austin says I have a feeling she won't show up. All right. Heather says, not Heather. Or sometimes they continuously defend their friend even if they are in the wrong. That's what I have experienced at work. It's true. It's true. I mean, it will be interesting to see what the dynamic will be, because she says that this was an old co-worker, not necessarily friend, but when they showed the pictures of them working together, it looked like they developed a friendship. So we shall see. Christina says Oprah isn't thinking about coleslaw. I would never use my minutes with Oprah to talk about Ariane. Trust and believe. I will ask her though about Love and Marriage Huntsville and how she feels about that show. I despise Kate, but sounds like fun. I mean, but that's what makes a reality TV star, is you have strong feelings. You either love them or you hate them. I enjoyed Kate on the show. I felt, did I love her every moment? No, but she was definitely great TV in her confessionals, in the mix of things. It would have been interesting if they brought her back as a third stew, but apparently she's been working on other things. Exactly. Heather says Frasier shouldn't be so insecure about the help. I think he just feels like he's been bonding with her. I think Frasier is territorial. We see that in this episode with Rayna trying to come in his new relationship with Jake. He's like, no. And now another person's coming in his relationship with Heather. Now he's like, no. So I think it's more about Frasier than it is about the other people. Deborah says Kate was great. I agree. Austin says Kate took her job way too serious. You'll probably say that about me too. And I'm sure my old co-workers from corporate life would say the same thing about me too. I was very professional in my I wasn't hanging out with you afterwards. There were a couple of people that I was really good friends with. But when it came to work, I don't care who you are. I'm like, no, that's not the way it's done. So maybe that's why I can relate to people like Kate Chastain, people that take their job very seriously. I got a certain work ethic. Maybe it's because I'm Jamaican. Felicia says, Fraser has my heart. He's such a sweetheart until he's not. I want to see that side of him come out. And we saw it in the beginning of the season. We haven't seen a lot of it since then, but maybe we will. Tara says Josiah and Kate plus long-haired Jesus. Who was long hair? I got to think back. I wouldn't mind if Josiah would come back. I want Josiah to come back. He was supposed to come back last season, but pandemic. Femtaro says she's watching. Hey, Femtaro. She's watching from both platforms. Everyone loves my t-shirt. Wait till you guys get my own merch. This is Banana Republic, but wait till you get my own merch. I was just talking with Fem about merchandise, but let me not say too much. Talk True says, Kemp, have you ever been to Jamaica? Yes. It's been a while though. It's been a while. Last time I went to Jamaica, oh my gosh, was it 2016? Yeah, it probably was 2016. Was the last time that I went. I definitely need to go back. Let me see what you guys are saying. K11 says Josiah supported Kate and both were just nasty. No thanks. That's why you guys have such different opinions on Kate Chastain and Josiah. I like Josiah. I love British humor too. So maybe that's why I like them, and that's why I like Frasier. But honestly, Frasier has the potential to be really great as a chief stew, and I kind of want to see him in that realm. But he's sort of not been there in the last few episodes. But as all of you have been saying, this season hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. The charter guests have been and the crew has been I don't know. We shall see. But guys, every single week here on the channel, we recap Below Deck. I'm still invested. I'm still very much invested. It will be interesting to see how they handle the topic of Heather and Rayna on the reunion and how this is handled the rest of the season. We still have quite a few more episodes. And Rayna seemed as if she made amends with Heather. And then later on that day, it seems like, nope, it still bothers me, which she does have a right for it to still bother her, even though they've had a conversation. But I just want to see how this transpires the rest of the season and how it's handled during the reunion. We shall see. We also will see what will happen between Rayna and Jake. We see that in this episode that they hook up. I thought we were going to see all three of them hook up. I'm kind of glad. I don't know why. I'm just kind of glad I didn't see all three of them hook up. They made it seem like all three of them hook up, but it seems as if it's going to be Jake and Rayna. But Rayna had a crush on him a long time, and I think that was part of the reason why she gave him a tough time when he became the lead deckhand, because she had a crush on him and now he's telling her what to do. We shall see. Let me see. Christina says, I want to know who else felt like that primary should have not come on a mega yacht with her mouth wide shut. Christina, we said that too. You know, she thought that maybe she'd be able to do it, but in this episode, she just was annoying. I know she was hungry, but you're expecting I don't know what kind of chef Rachel is, but she seems very dynamic and very capable. But you're expecting her to take everything that everyone else is eating and put that in a shake in blended form. When I first thought it was like, oh, well, maybe, because, I take my certain things and I blend them together, but I'm not taking meat and all this other stuff and blending that together, because that's not going to have the same flavor because there's certain foods I don't put together. There's certain foods I do not put together. Tess says Rayna hates Jake and then is in bed with him. I don't think she's making good choices in that regard. It's so up and down that you got to know it goes nuclear. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think she hates Jake. I think she's had a crush on Jake since the beginning. She thought maybe they had a little something, and then he became her boss, and now they're hooking up again. So I don't see this ending well for Rayna or Jake. Just saying. Felicia says, I have no expectations for the reunion. Bravo is consistent at not dealing with certain issues the right way. Good point. Very good point. Suzette says, can you imagine the shakes and smoothies Rachel would have created? Right. Because that's the thing. I kind of wish she would have just allowed Rachel to make her specialty shakes and not just blended what everyone else was having. But even in a blended form, me sitting there, you guys are eating and cutting your steak and doing all that. I'm going to feel away. And I get it. She had an accident. She had to do that because of the accident. But then I probably like, yeah, we're not going to do this. And she thought she could do it. And, we all think we can do certain things. And then we do it. We're like, oh, this probably wasn't the brightest idea. And it wasn't the brightest idea. I would have been like, after that first night, I'm like, girl, give me something else. But she made it seem like it was good. But Chef Rachel knows what she's doing. Even she's able to make blended food delectable, because it's not just taking the food and putting it in the blender. She's had to liquefy it in a way. So she probably added certain sauces and seasonings just to liquefy her food. Shout out to Chef Rachel. Chef Rachel's having a good season, because I did not love Chef Rachel the last season with her, because I was just like, how are you speaking to the captain like that? And then you're leaving them empty-handed without a chef. And then her drunken behavior, I was turned off by Chef Rachel, but she's redeeming herself this season. I think she's doing a good job. A little boring at times. I do love some Chef Rachel commentary, but I don't know. Daniel says nasty. Tess says, hate was maybe a strong word. Yeah, she and Jake had extremely contentious encounters in the professional capacity. Yes, I don't think getting in bed with a coworker is good, but it seems extra not good. Well, it's good for us for TV. It's not good in the real world. Boxer Girl, hey. Soup, shakes, smoothies would have been preferable to me. Yeah, exactly. I just feel like blending everything that they're eating. And then she kind of made it seem like her guests were being hateful towards her. And maybe we didn't see everything that was said, but I felt like her friends were being very understanding to her mood. We're not so understanding this week. Last week we were understanding. This week we're like, girl, get over it. You're asking her to do almost the impossible, but she still did it. She still did it. Chocolate Chunk says, I love Rachel. Mexi says, yeah, Rachel is a lot more calm this season versus last season. Agreed. Yeah, Rachel is happier this season. Mind you, Rachel is not even in her relationship. You know, she's single right now. Not to say that means you can't be happy, but you would think a lot of times you see miserable people and you're like, what's going on at home? But maybe that relationship was toxic. Who knows? Who knows? Chocolate Chunk says, yeah, her confessionals are funny. K11, thank you. Yeah, can we get to 200 likes, guys? We have over 300 people watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel because you're getting daily and consistent hot topics. And stay tuned. More is coming later today in regards to hot topics and stories that we will be covering. But be sure to check out some of the things that you haven't checked out, including our Tristan Thompson story, some more Real Housewives of Atlanta news, and our recap of the Ariane Curry interview from last night. So be sure to check that out. That is a good one to listen to in the background if you're doing errands or if you're at work and you just need something to listen to. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Shout out to everyone that sent in a super chat. Shout out to our Team Kempire and Royal Court members. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com. And if you would like to follow me on my social media, I can think. Follow me on my social media. Head on over to @TheKempire on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Follow me there. And of course, @Kempire Daily and @Kempire Radio. Yeah, K11 says that chat was crazy last night. Hilarious callers. I mean, hilarious callers sharing their own personal experiences. Danielle just wants to start trouble, y'all. Y'all don't fall for Danielle and her trickery. Okay, Danielle's like, shout out to Loudmouth from last night's live. Yeah, you're a mess. Rachel is hands down the best chef on Below Deck. Deborah, that's hard for me to say. Yes, the food looks good, but I've never tasted any of the chef's food, so I can't say that. If I tasted the food and I'm like, well, no, she's handing. I mean, we can only go by what people have said. The guests have said. At one point, one of the guests says like she needs to open her own restaurant. So you never know. Chef Rachel, you might want to take that. Obi says, yeah, Loudmouth was a trip. Guys, if you did not watch our recap of that interview last night, again, that's available on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. It's also available on the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. So be sure to check that out. Thank you to everyone that watched on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook right now, and of course on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. I appreciate you all being here. Be sure to like the video if you haven't liked it already. Get your coldest water bottle. If you haven't already, get your coldest water bottle today. KEMP10 for 10% off. Keeps your water cold. And it comes in multiple sizes, multiple colors, and all that. Pink is still out of stock. I know a lot of you have been asking about the pink, but yeah. Ben was great too. A lot of people said Ben was great TV. Chef Ben was a great TV and apparently a good chef as well. Who knows? Who knows? All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here because I got stories to cover, things to do, bills to pay. All kinds of things. Thank you to everyone that was a part of our Below Deck weekly Below Deck conversation. So if you enjoy Below Deck, be sure to be here next week, same time, same place. Thank you to my moderators for moderating the conversation in the chat and just allowing us to have a fun chat. I appreciate you all being here. I will see you guys later. Let's get out of here.